it's like Deuce said, we've won 2 games in a row before. We started out 2-0. I think everybody was ecstatic with that 2-0 start. So you got to be a pro. You have a bye. You get to get a few people healthy, hopefully. And then it's going to be a different challenge come Rams, but you got them at home and, keep the fans engaged from the get-go. I think that's going to be critical going forward. But, anytime you win a game by 21 points in the NFL, I don't care if you were playing the Jaguars today. Whoever you might perceive as a weak team in the NFL, and Cleveland is one of those teams. They only had 2 wins coming into the game. And anytime you win by 21 21 points, that's impressive. I thought it was very entertaining. It wasn't 3 yards in a cloud of dust. A lot of explosive chunk plays. For you and against you. Well, the one against was when Jameis Winston hit Jerry Jeudy for 89 yards. But look at the chunk plays. Taysom Hill plus 75 yards. Scantling again plus 71 yards. So you look at the chunk explosive plays, and I'd said this in the pregame, and, the Saints have struggled against the Browns. If you look, now we've played them 20 times in Saints history, and when we've beaten the Browns, it ain't been no whooping. Well, today was a whooping, like I said, when you win by 21 points. And I said that in the pregame. The black and gold never beaten the Browns by more than 7 points. And we did that twice. We did it, remember the coldest game ever, we won 17-10. Now Deshaun Watson's playing. Well, last time we played in Cleveland, it was 6 degrees. And then in 1987, when we won 12 games, first time we ever went to the playoffs, we beat them 28-21. But that got shattered. Obviously, scoring when you look at 35 points, or I should say that the 7-point victory, but also the 28-21 win in '87. That was the most points the Saints had ever scored against the Browns, was 28. So we end up getting 35 points. So an impressive win by the Saints, to say the least. You look, the Browns now lead the overall series 13-7. And now in the Dome, you think at our home, even going back to Tulane Stadium, we'd be better at home. But we had a losing record against them. Now we're 4-8. So what have you done for them lately? They beat Cleveland and came away with a big win. Now, what more can you say about Taysom Hill? I mean, I have 2 or 3 bootleg shirts, T-shirts by Taysom Hill. I'm definitely wearing one of those to the slipper. Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades. I have it all. So I'm going to be toting that. And Taysom Hill, the bottom line, he's just a football player. I don't understand how maybe the media is too young. That's maybe some older media members there. And Coach Rizz is referring to Red Grange. Do they know Red Grange is the galloping ghost? Probably not. Red Grange, but that's not he should be compared to. I wish I was that. I'd raise my hand. No, not Kathy Lee Gifford, but her husband, Frank Gifford.
Yes, sir.
You ever heard of Frank Gifford, New York Giants? That's who Taysom Hill is. Well, Bobby, what do you mean by that, Frank Gifford? How do you come up with that analogy? I got that written somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Whether it's running, throwing, or catching, that you look at Frank Gifford, it doesn't get any better than that. And Steve, I don't know, my notes must have fell down because I had it somewhere here.
I got it right here if you want to read it.
Yeah, go ahead and read it. And this is what Frank Gifford and Taysom Hill has accomplished.
Only 2 players in NFL history.
Okay, remember that.
You got it, okay.
No, keep on. No, only 2 players now.
2 players in
NFL history have done this.
Have 30-plus rushing touchdowns, 10-plus receiving touchdowns, and 10-plus passing touchdowns. That's Frank Gifford and Taysom Hill.
So that's running, throwing, catching, you do it all. And he can, he can block punts, he can, return kickoffs, make tackles.
Right.
Taysom Hill can do it all. He had all-purpose yards, 248. Taysom Hill is literally, I wonder how that works, Charlie. You probably can have, what that works in fantasy points.
Oh, monster day for sure.
If you have him, how do you add that all up? Because he does so many different things.
Charlie just let me know in my ear. He's got over 40 points today in fantasy football.
Now, explain to me, is that outrageous?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, you want to talk about Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades, Taysom Hill is that guy. Now, I still think, though, you want to be positive, negative. The one thing compared to the Falcons game, is that, you know what? We kicked their ass running the football. And that was one thing we got to get better. You know, I said we got to flip it.
Right.
We weren't stopping the run, but then we weren't running. Well, today, when you look at that,
your wish was received.
Oh, outstanding. 28 rushing attempts. We averaged 7.6 yard a carry for 214 yards. They ran the ball 20 times, only a 3.3 average. So, no, that's outstanding.
How many yards did Taysom Hill average on the ground, Bobby?
Taysom Hill averaged right under 20, 19.7.
What?
And you considered outstanding or top running back if you hit 4.4, right at 4.5 yards. Well, Taysom in his career, I want to say he's like 5.5 yards on his career. But, yeah, that's mind-boggling. When you talk about chunk plays, explosive plays, and he's getting in the end zone. Oh, I forgot to mention, he also had 3 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, and he also did. Yeah, it was just unbelievable, an outstanding effort. I can tell you this. If we run the ball like this, I don't care if they got Matthew Stafford. We play in the Rams. We run the ball like this and we stop the Rams from running, we're winning. You know why? You know, the game shouldn't even have been that close, 35-14. We were -2 in the turnover margin. Now we +2 for the season, -2 for the game. I thought Jameis Winston was outstanding. I thought both quarterbacks were outstanding. Both Jameis Winston and Derek Carr, they were pros. They were pros. You look at Jameis's passer rating was was 106.7. Derek Carr was 129.6. Jameis had right on the 400 yards throwing, 395, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Derek Carr had 248, but highly efficient, 21 of 27, 2 touchdowns and no pick. So you've seen great quarterback play. And like I said, you saw chunk plays. I thought Foster Moreau, him and Juwan Johnson, that combination, they got targeted. If you combine them both, they got targeted 7 times, 6 catches. I thought Juwan Johnson's touchdown, so they combined for 80 yards. Foster Moreau was right on the 17-yard average, which was outstanding. And again, Valdez-Scantling, explosive, big chunk play, 71 yards. He goes 2 catches, 87 yards. No, it was a lot to write home about. And like I said, I thought Jameis Winston hung in there tough. And he kept early on. And when you think about it, we were going into the fourth quarter, and I'm like, this is going to come down to the wire. Not so fast. It's like 14 to 14. Now, what was also outstanding was what you're doing on third down. You know, they ended up having more first downs than us, 22 to 19, but they didn't get it done on third down. The Saints' defense was outstanding, holding them to 23%. They were only 3 of 13, and this is outstanding for us. We were 5 of 10, 50%. So, again, that's another area you have to look at. I mean, just sustaining drives and moving the football. There was one time, this discouraged me when they tied the game. Remember, we had a great punt, and they went 92 yards. I think it was like on 8 plays. And that's when Will Harris and Alontae Taylor, I think Alontae Taylor got to carry the receiver more or shove him more inside or disrupt the route on that deep sideline. That was a 30-yard touchdown to make it 14 to 14. Well, they went 92 yards with no third downs. So they first and second down, they end up getting it done on those type drives. Now, if you look at total net yards, like I said, you have to be entertained if you like points or big plays. Cleveland had 443 yards. Obviously, you don't want to give up that much. And we had 473. I thought we still got to get a better pass rush. To me, the pass rush is still too inconsistent. At times, I know Jameis Winston felt very comfortable back there. Now, we did end up with 3 sacks. But a lot of times, we wasn't really, hitting them. You can't really hit the quarterback, but I'm talking about making them a little shaky or happy feet, so to speak. That was definitely not the case. And, it was out. When I said, how are we going to finish? I don't know. It's 14 to 14 going into the fourth quarter. Brian Brzee, looking at him, he needs to still, when he develops, get better against the run. I think he will, but he can rush the passer. Brian Brzee had a sack and a half, and he now has 5.5 sacks for the season. looking at Brian Brzee. The last time we had an interior guy, I might be wrong on this, but I think I'm right. Looking at post-Katrina since 2006, I want to see, we had Cedric Ellis. Remember Cedric Ellis in the interior from USC? And when the season's all said and done, he had 6 sacks. So I think Brian Brzee is going to break that. And now that's impressive. Brian Brzee, if he has right now, like I said, 5.5 sacks, if he gets to 10 sacks, maybe we can play you more situational. You don't necessarily have to be outstanding against the run if you can be that disruptive. I think Demario Davis is coming back into form. If you look at, led the team with 13 tackles. He had a couple of pass defended, a tackle for a loss. I thought Ugo Amadi and Alante Taylor, and that's not going to end. You're going to see they're going to have numbers because teams are going after them. They're going to pick on them. Without having Lattimore back there or Paulson Adebo, they're going to challenge Alante Taylor and Ugo Amadi. I think Ugo Amadi a little more consistent in that Falcons game than he was today, but they were like second and third with 9 and 8 tackles. Pete Werner with that club, I know is sometimes trying to make tackles with one hand, but like Demario Davis said, no, he's a warrior, and you want him on your side. And Carl Granderson. Carl Granderson is probably, the most, not outspoken, but the most productive defensive end we have right now. He had a sack, quarterback hurry, 2 tackles for a loss. Brian Brzee had a sack and a half, and he shared one of them with Chase Young. Brian Brzee also had 2 quarterback hurries, had a tackle for a loss, and Chase Young had half a sack and a quarterback hurry and a tackle for a loss. You know who's been outstanding on special teams and the coverage units? Because that's one area with Coach Rizz. Now him being the head coach, we got to always win on that. Whether it's coverage units, kicking units, any phase of special teams, we have to win. You want to win all 3 phases or 2 out of the 3 phases. Well, I would expect with Coach Rizz, the emphasis that we put on that, and Coach Galliano and all the staff now, that we're going to be outstanding. But the one player, we all know about J.T. Gray, but I think it might have been a couple of weeks ago, maybe you told me this, or that Bill Belichick was doing some breakdowns, like all-pro potential Saints players, like all the NFL teams. He had, as good as he is on special teams, Anthony Orji had him like he's playing at like an all-pro level, and that was from, I want to say, Belichick. So we know about J.T. Gray, but Anthony Orji, he led the team today with 2 special teams tackles. Kind of like, remember Dow we had from Michigan State?
Right.
Or who's the one who was a great team leader from North Texas State? Was it Robinson?
Craig Robertson?
Craig Robinson.
Right, the linebacker.
Yes, and I think Anthony Orji might even be in a better level than that on the special teams. So you need those type players. It looks like the Anthony Orji has been that guy that they can count on. Now, it's a big win. Hopefully, you get as many players as you can healthy. Looking at Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is going to be a big part of what the combination 1-2 punch with him and Taysom Hill. We got when you look at Jordan Mims is kind of the back. Because Kendrick Miller, okay, when is he going to come back? Is that the bye week? Is that going to help him? Maybe so he can help beat maybe that 3-headed monster. But overall, just an outstanding win. And I know the Browns only won 2 games, but that's why they played a game, and we end up coming out on top. And a couple of more things before we go to the break. I mean, to show you the game how it was changing. And we're only winning 14-6. And, Taysom, boy, he even talked about it, that kind of lollipop-type D-ball got intercepted, and he got hit pretty hard when he fumbled. But I'm thinking, man, that score should have been 17-6 at least.
Right.
Or 21-6, but then he fumbles. And I'm like, then look at the last 4 plays, what had occurred at one time. The Saints on 4th and 1, you remember Carr hits Moreau, boy, nice pass, but then it's nullified by a holding on Jawan Johnson. And then all of a sudden, so the Saints got a punt. Then Jameis hits an 89-yard touchdown pass. And then after that, then Taysom Hill was intercepted all in 4 plays, like bang, bang, bang. So, no, it was a lot of back and forth roller coaster type feelings if you were a fan. Now, the one thing their kick. I don't know. I think if he's flying back on their plane, he might have to take a commercial instead of the private charter and go somewhere else. But as far as him missing those field goals, and I'm asked Coach Rizz that we have on the coaches show, but they called that holding penalty on Peyton Turner. And when I looked at that, and I went, in the NFL booth or something like that, and it looks like he just hit the ground. And they called him, because you're trying to pull the offensive lineman so a rusher can get through. He just fell to the ground right at the center, and they called him for holding. That was a bogus call. So, yeah, the refs are going to miss some. But overall, the referees let him play. They didn't. If you look at it, this is the kind of game I like. They called 8 penalties. Remember I told you you don't want double digits or hovering around 15. So only 8 penalties were called. I can come at critical times.
Even better, 5 were on Cleveland.
Yeah. When you look at it, 5 were on Cleveland. No, the Saints had 5.
Oh, sorry, 5 were on us. Never mind. I take that back.
And the Browns had 3. So I just thought the refs went too much into the game. So that's always a good thing.
We are rocking and rolling here on the Ciroc Point after a Saints 35-14 victory. The black and gold back-to-back victories now.
Yeah, and as we go, y'all got to remember this, fans, because you'll never see Taysom Hill. I can't say never, but it might be a long time. You'll never look how long Frank Gifford. Okay, you're talking about the '60s, early '60s, and then all of a sudden he was doing Monday Night Football. You remember when it got invented, Monday Night Football, and he wasn't playing. So I'm saying, some other Taysom Hill's going to come along. Maybe not. We might all be dead. You remember, only 2 players in NFL history, 30-plus rushing touchdowns, 10-plus receiving touchdowns, 10-plus passing touchdowns.
There can be only 2.
Taysom Hill, Frank Gifford, not the galloping ghost Red Grange.